Generative Expand in Photoshop is a favorite generative AI feature among photographers and other content creators because it solves practical issues many of us have run into. For example, if you need to change the aspect ratio of a photo for a particular social media site or other use, Generative Expand can instantly create content to help you do that. Or if you cut something off at the edge of a photo during a photo shoot, you can use Generative Expand to create similar content so no one will know the difference. Hi, I'm Jan Kabili from the Adobe Learn team. In this video, I'll show you how simple it is to use Generative Expand in Photoshop. In Photoshop, Generative Expand is an option for a tool you've probably used many times in Photoshop and in other software, the familiar crop tool. Here we have a horizontal photo. Let's say we want to change this photo from a horizontal to a vertical photo with a 4:5 aspect ratio, so it's perfect for posting to Instagram. We'll start by selecting the crop tool in the toolbar. And if there are any old settings up here in the options bar, you can click this reset button to clear them out. In the options bar, go to the fill option and make sure that it's set to Generative Expand. The next step is to expand the crop boundary that's around the outside of this image. Let's zoom out a little so we have more room to work. Now, you could expand the crop boundary by freely dragging one or more of the edges until you like the shape of your crop. But if you know the aspect ratio you need, in this example 4:5 for Instagram, use the aspect ratio method instead for an exact crop. So locate your contextual taskbar on your canvas. If yours isn't showing, go to the window menu and choose Contextual Taskbar. In the taskbar, click the Ratio menu and choose 4:5 parentheses 8:10. This isn't inches or any other measurement, it's a proportion of width to height. And you can see that proportion now in the revised crop boundary. If you were to complete the crop now, you would lose the content outside this boundary at both the left and the right edges of our photo. But with Generative Expand, you won't lose that content. In fact, you'll retain it and you'll have additional content too. Click on the right side of the crop boundary and drag out to the right side of the photo. And do the same on the left edge. And the bottom and top of the crop boundary expanded along with the sides to maintain the 4:5 aspect ratio. Notice that all of the content of the original image is inside the crop boundary, so it will be preserved. And there are some new areas on the top and the bottom as well. And if we were to generate now, both of those new areas would be filled with new generated content. But before we do that, let's reposition the original image inside this crop boundary in the location where we'll want it in the final expanded image. I'd like it to be closer to the top, so I'll click on the original image and I'll drag up and I'll put it about there. And now we're ready to trigger Generative Expand. Go to the contextual taskbar. You have the option to enter a text prompt here, but you don't have to. If you don't enter a text prompt, Generative Expand will take cues from the rest of the image as it generates new content, and that's often all you'll need. So let's leave the text prompt field blank and go over and click Generate in the taskbar. Photoshop is now generating new content to fill in the expanded areas at the top and bottom of the image. In a few seconds, there will be 3 variations of the expanded image over here in the Properties panel. You can click on each of these thumbnails to find the one that you like best and select that one. If you don't like any of them, go to Generate here in the Properties panel or up here in the taskbar and click to generate 3 more variations to choose from. It's amazing how realistic some of these variations are and how well they blend with the rest of the image. In the Layers panel, notice that there's now a new layer labeled Generative Expand. If I turn this Generative Expand layer off, you'll see the original image with a blank expanded area above and below. And when I turn it back on, you'll see the after view and notice how much brand new content was created for us by Generative Expand. If you want to expand the image more, you can continue to do the same thing multiple times. Click with the crop tool on the image, drag out one or more edges, and click Generate. And each time you'll get more new content, all within a 4:5 aspect ratio. I hope you'll try using Generative Expand on your own photos and on non-photographic images too. It will help you be more productive and create amazing content.